y'all, it's Heather, and I'm so super excited because today we are going to be playing with the new Minka palette from Adept. Adept has given us new packaging. It's very Natasha Denona-esque, and when I lift it up, the mirror stands. I love that. Listen, it's perfect for travel. Do you see this color story inside of the palette? Like, the packaging is cool, it's exciting, all of that, but look at this color story. Do not play with me. I am so into this. Now, before we compare the new Minka palette to the old Minka palette, the original, let me show you this palette close up and give you some details. This palette is launching on January 24th. I will put the time and I will put my affiliated code Heather in case you want to purchase this palette. It will give you a discount. Everything will be in the description box and a pinned comment. This palette has 5 mattes, 2 multichromes, 2 iridescent multichromes, 2 duochromes, and 4 shimmers. Adept said that the matte formula in this palette is the same as Vivette, which was their most recent launch. I do have a full video on that palette as well. I can link that down below for you if you want to check it out, but it's really, really cool and fun. Adept says that this palette does not contain any glitters. It is a glitter-free palette, but it does have the extremely sparkly high pearl shimmers. I think this is a really beautiful, interesting color story. I think this is a palette that a lot of people will really like, myself included. It has shades that are bold and intense. It has shades that are a little more on the muted neutral side. We also have shades that are very light and very dark in the mattes and the shimmers, which I can appreciate because that gives me versatility. I can create dramatic, deep, dark looks. I can create lighter looks if I want to, and I just love Adept's formula. I think they're always consistent. They're very easy to work with for me. This palette, just like other Adept palettes, is magnetic, so you can take the shadows out with the little magnet. They have the names printed on the back of them, so if you want to swap these shades around with any of your other Adept palettes, if you have any Adept palettes, you can definitely do that. You can kind of make your own custom color story. There's also little pinholes on the back. If you don't want to use a magnet, you can use that to kind of pop the shades out. And that really goes for all Adept palettes being magnetic. So if you have my palette, the top one, the Heather Austin palette, my love, you can definitely take some of these shades. You can mix and match them with this. You know, if you want to take my PaO2, put it down here, pull in, like, you know, like you can mix and match. You can do what you want. You can play around, and I love that. It gives versatility, especially like I love Adept, and I love that I can kind of custom make a palette. Now we're gonna get into comparisons. I want to start off by comparing it to the original Minka palette. I have lots of other palettes that I'll show you this next to, but let's talk about the OG Minka. The original Minka palette launched back in the fall of 2022. I did do a full video on it and I loved it. I thought it was so glam and so fun, but this new palette does have a new formula. Some of the shades are the same, but the textures and the formulas are quite different. We are going to live swatch the shades that are the same in the palette. So same shade name, different formulas. The original Minka palette does have 2 matte shades, so we'll start off, we'll swatch those first. Here are the 2 matte shades from the original Minka palette. Now keep in mind, mine is several years old now, but there are the shades Maria and Toya. Here is the new Maria, and here is the new Toya. Let me make sure you can see. So lighter and brighter in tone, definitely deeper. I loved the original Minka, of course, but there's always newer, better things coming in makeup, new improvements, new formulas, new ways to do things, and I'm happy to see that Adept kind of updated and improved Minka. I've got the shades Emma and Maya from the old Minka palette, super reflective, super beautiful. And here we have the new Emma and Maya. So let me kind of put those there. You can see the new Maya is definitely more like pinky in tone Maya. Yes, I'm like, let me double check, but they're both super shiny, like both formulas beautiful. So if you have the old Minka and you're happy with it, I'm not telling you to like run out and buy this one by any means. This new formula is smoother. It doesn't feel as thick and textured. Like I said, I love both. So I'm just here to help you decide. Had Adept not sent me this palette, I would have purchased it. Let's be real. Like, I love the brand. Next, we'll do Ava and Linda from the old palette. I'll put those right there. These are super, super beautiful, super sparkly, super shifty. Love these. Linda is a beautiful like multi-chrome, holochrome shade. Then we have the new Linda and the new Ava right here. Very, very similar. The new one is just a bit more like punchy. It's a bit more intense, also a bit more smooth. Like definitely a formula change, definitely more up with the times. But again, it's not like I'm throwing away my old Minka. I'm keeping it because I love her. I definitely think both are beautiful palettes, but I'm so happy that they expanded because I do think Minka is an amazing palette, but having more mattes in the palette and having some other shade options just make the palette more versatile, make it to where I can create more looks, which is what I'm all about. I think this is really, really beautiful. I just love the addition. I'm into it. With this new packaging, I was hoping that the Adept shades from other palettes would fit into these pans, and they definitely do. We already talked about that, but I was also curious how the Natasha Denona shadows would work, and these are smaller than the Adept pans, so you can put them in there, but you will have space around the Adept shadows, so they won't fit in there perfectly. They're just a little bit smaller, but you can definitely put them in there. I thought maybe I would show you Minka next to Roxa in case you were curious. Looking at them next to each other, I think you can tell that they're both got like a purpley theme going on. We have a dark brown in each, but overall super different, right? Like this is a lot more like pinky in tone, whereas we do have some pinks up here, but this is more blue with like a little bit of like purple, a little more like just a little more punchy in terms of the formulas with the holochromes and the multichromes and things. Love Natasha Denona. I have a full video on this one too, so I think they're both like unique and different, not the same, but I did want to show you those side by side. I also think the new Minka would be beautiful paired with my friend Amy's collaboration. This is a gorgeous palette. I love all Adept, of course, and I love Amy, but I think these two would be really, really pretty. Like the shades are so nice and would look so beautiful together, so I wanted to show you those side by side. I'll also compare it to the Unity palette because this one is more like pinky and rosy and just overall different, right? It's different, but I want to show you these side by side in case you're curious. I always want to be as helpful as possible. Last but not least, I'll show you the new Minka compared to Legend of Ardra, one of my favorite palettes from Adept. Like, oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. I won't go on and on about it, but it does have some pinky purple tones in it, so I thought maybe it could be helpful to see these two side by side. If you love these comparisons, if you like seeing the swatches, the tutorials, the comparisons to other palettes with the new palettes, please do subscribe before you leave. It helps me out so much to know like what videos are you liking, what videos are you interacting with. It just gives me some feedback so I can know like what to prioritize. What do y'all want to see? What makeup are y'all most interested in? So if you love this video, please do subscribe before you leave. I am ready to jump into the tutorial. I'm going to show you how I got this eye look. Let's do it. To get started with our look, I'm going to use an eyeshadow primer. I always use an eyeshadow primer because I have deep set eyes, oily lids, lots of wrinkles and crinkles in here, so I'm going to use my Sigma Ignite. I'm going to use this matte shade right here called Elena. I think this looks really pretty. It looks kind of like a dingy type of color. I know that doesn't sound nice, but trust me, it's nice. Like I like the way this looks. I'm gonna start by pressing the shadow kind of all in my socket. I'm just feeling right where that kind of area is here and pressing, and I will link all the brushes that I'm using down below too, but I just kind of want to fluff this color on. I didn't pick up a ton on my brush, just enough to kind of get this color going for us. Now my eye shape can kind of like close off out here with how they're deep set, and I want to keep them kind of like out and open. So when I get out to this part of my eye, I'm gonna take it straight across rather than down. I can go down if I want to, but I'm gonna put another shade there, so why bother? I just want to make sure I'm taking this shade out, kind of far out, without any additional product on my brush, just making sure it's kind of lifting. Goodness, Adept eyeshadows always just perform so well for me. They really do. If you watched my palette ranking video where I ranked 105 palettes that I tried in 2024, you will know that Adept is a fave. So many of their palettes from last year I love, and this is performing exactly like I expect. This is such a pretty color. I don't need to keep going on and on about it, but I really do like this. I think it's a color that if you mainly wear neutral, browns, grays, shades like that, you would really like this color because it's like a safe color, you know? Like it's not too purpley, and I don't know, I think it's pretty versatile and I'm into it. You know, I love color, I love neutrals, I don't discriminate, like more is more when it comes to makeup for me, but I do think this is like a really pretty addition to this palette. Now what I want to do is go in with Ariana, this deep dark shade right down here. I think this looks really pretty. So I'm going to take this on a brush from my Sigma set, and I'm going to pop this on my lower lash line. It's so hard to talk while I do this. I always end up poking myself in the eye, but I'm not gonna do that today. No. I'm going to not poke myself in the eye because growth, right? I'm gonna talk and focus at the same time. So I'm just kind of dragging that back and forth along the lower lash line, and I'm letting it come down pretty low because why not? Why not? You could also use the same color that we used up here and put that down a little bit lower if you want to and have something a little bit softer, but I'm feeling a little bit of drama today. I'm taking the shade extended out from the lower lash line a little bit, then I'm gonna bring it down to my lid on the upper lash line and kind of wing it out like that. So it's going to connect from top to bottom. So I'm just going to kind of blend that back and forth though. Go back in, pick up more shadow if I need to, kind of deepen it up right there, and then kind of just buff a bit because I want it to come up and out and not be harsh, just be kind of a very soft wing and still keeping the drama, you know? Now this is kind of a trust the process type of look. So it's not going to be perfect every step of the way, but it's going to come together. Trust the process. I have wanted to use this shade right here called Anna since I saw this palette. I'm like, I have to have that on my eyes like yesterday. So that's the shade we are going to use. I'm going to pick it up on my brush and then I'm going to spray my brush with a little bit of setting spray just to help me avoid any fallout or anything like that. It's going to help with the intensity of the shadows. I don't love using my fingers to apply eyeshadow. It doesn't work the best for me. Now you can use like a glitter primer, a glitter glue, an extra adhesive, something like that. And in my recent best of the year for 2024, I did talk about some adhesive that I liked, and I will like list that down below, of course, but I just want to spray my brush today. I don't want to use anything extra. I don't feel like I need to. I'm gonna look down into my mirror and I'm gonna press the shadow off of my brush first. I'm not gonna do swiping or blending. I'll do that in a minute. Right now, I just want to get most of this beautiful shadow off of the brush and onto the lid. So I'm going to place it where I want it, just tapping, tap, tap, tapping. Sorry, I laugh at myself because I'm like concentrating and I'm just like tap, tap, tap it on. Once the shadow is off my brush, then I will go and I'll kind of start to blend and diffuse and make sure that I don't have any harsh lines or anything like that. I just want to make sure I have it to where I like it. So little blending motions. That's such a pretty color. Oh, I'm so into it. I'm so into it. I'm so into it. If you decide to recreate this look and you want to keep it on the more neutral side, use your face highlighter as an inner corner highlight or use one of these like lighter shimmers. I am going to not do that, and I'm going to pull in some more color because I can't help myself, okay? I cannot help myself. I toyed around with using the shade Joshua right here, this blue, blue and purple, like it would be beautiful, but I kind of have something else in mind. I want to go in with just a little bit of Mia, this like super sparkly shade down here. I want to put that on the inner corner, and then we're going to pull in something else. but I will also let you know in case you're curious, because these shades are sparkly and you're seeing the sparkle. These are not pressed glitters. They are not pressed glitters, so don't worry about that. Adept does have all the ingredients and everything on the website already. Even though the palette has not launched yet at the time that I'm filming this, you can check out the ingredients and all of that stuff on their site, so I will leave it linked down below for you. But we're about to take this look to the next level. I've got that shade Mia on my brush. That's intense. That's beautiful. Wow. And I did spray my brush after I picked up the shadow. I'm not getting the brush wet. I'm just picking up the shadow, holding my brush up, and spraying once or twice with a little setting spray. Usually I'm using a setting spray that I don't love on my face, something that has glycerin, something like that. And I'm just going to lightly wrap it so that it's not just a dot, it kind of bridges the gap in here, you know? Now I'm gonna go in with this shade right here called Eliza. It has this really pretty shift to it, and I think it's gonna be gorgeous. This can be a little bit like messy, but I kind of like an undone look to where it's like blended and blown out. Taking this type of brush that's this is a Soto brush. I love these from Rephr, and we're gonna just like add something. I'm going to go right above my socket, right under my brow, and I am just gonna put that shimmer, that sparkle, that whatever you want to call it, right in this area. And it's not something that will be super impactful, like wow, but it's gonna be a little subtle thing. And as I kind of go about my day in different lighting, it's gonna catch the light and just be super pretty and a little extra, but really, really, really beautiful. I like this so much. And if you're seeing like right here a line, or out here a line, or anything like that, I see comments from time to time asking, and it's just wrinkles. It's just wrinkles. It's not creasing in the shadow. Like, I'm just 37, y'all. See, it's just a little excess skin, you know? It is what it is. And I don't mind it. I wanted to turn the lights down a bit so that you could see like how the light will hit that sparkle. Isn't that so cool? Oh, I love it. I love a good shimmer. I love to sparkle. Like, oh, stop. It's it's so good. And here it is in like very dim lighting. You know, I don't know your life. Maybe you're having tons of candlelit dinners or something like that, and it's just always dark and romantic where you are, and this is how the look would be in that environment, you know? So maybe I'm like a gothic fairy living in a castle. What do I know? I'm just so into this. I am gonna throw on a falsie and some liner, and I'll be back. All right, y'all, here is the finished look. I'm so into it. I just added some black liner and a half lash. If you're curious about what else is on my face, I will link it down below, but I am wearing some of my other Adept favorites. These shadows performed beautifully, exactly like what I know, love, and expect from Adept. Adept is a favorite brand for me. Absolutely love their palettes, and I'm so happy that they took Minka, a great palette, and they expanded it. I'm loving this new packaging. I'm just super excited to create more looks with this palette. I love the way this look turned out. I think this is perfect for creating soft, easy, effortless looks, deep, dark, dramatic looks. I think you can take this in a neutral leaning direction if you want to, or you can take it super colorful, which I love. I love versatility. Anytime a brand can give me a color story that is cohesive and I can get different types of looks from it, I'm into it. Like, I am here for it, and I'm just super excited about this one. I'm very excited to see what all of my favorite brands have for 2025. And if you love makeup, stick around, stay at my channel, subscribe. I would love to have you. I would love to talk makeup down in the comments. I'm gonna pop up some more videos here for you so that you can talk makeup with me.